Howdy y'all, Matt here. I am going to be working on a soldier fly larva farm today. I did some numbers, ran some numbers, and found out that these guys are eating about 16 pounds of feed per day. And that's a lot of feed. They're only getting bigger and they're only gonna be eating more. So want to make sure that we've got enough feed for them, want to offset the feed cost if at all possible. And hopefully soldier flies are going to be a good option to make that happen. So anyway, today we're building a soldier fly larva farm. So hope you enjoy. Okay, I'm gonna drill this hole for the T first, and I'm using my little 1-inch hole saw. And what I'm gonna do is, since this is raised on the end and I wanna make sure we cut a good hole here, I'm gonna put a little bit of scrap wood underneath it. And I'm gonna try and get that as center as possible just because I'm type A and I want it that way. Of course there we go. So do that slowly. And that wood behind there puts pressure back up on the lid, so that way you don't tear through it too bad. Okay, that's it. So we got ourselves a nice hole here, and that should fit our 3/4 inch PVC.
Is this hot?
I wouldn't touch it. I'm not going to glue any of these fittings because I want to be able to have the freedom to take them apart if necessary. And so I'm going to take this T here and I'm going to push that through there, and I'm going to put this T on the other side. So we're going to press that through. It's going to be tight because this is a little bit bigger than a 1-inch, but I want a tight fitting so that way we don't, you know, have other free access coming through there. I want it to be in there pretty securely. Okay, there's that. And you come on the other side, you just pop that on there. So now you've got a little area for the soldier flies to come in. They'll go in there, they'll come out here into your soldier fly farm. Okay, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna install the drain at the bottom of the Rubbermaid. I'm gonna try this bit first. Again, it's about the same size as the fittings. That should fit through there well. We want a nice snug fit, so that way, again, it's watertight and the liquid can only go through the drain. I'm gonna do the same thing here, is set it up on a piece of scrap wood and drill through so we got a nice hole, hopefully, at the end. So if you see right here, the fitting's upside down, but I wanna see that it's got very little clearance on each side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a pin and I'm gonna mark the very center of that hole, so that way we can make sure it fits in there well. We don't have much room for any error. All right, so this is the hole from the underside. Really clean hole. I'm very, very pleased with that. From the inside, same thing, really nice and clean. That's gonna work very nicely. Okay, so now we're gonna take our drain fitting and put it into that hole that we just drilled. Okay, so grab you a pair of pliers. We're using Jackson's pliers today. Jackson, say hello.
Hello.
Now look in the camera and say hello.
Hello.
All right, you can tighten that down. And again, you don't need it like super tight, but you want it to be waterproof. Okay. All right, tighten it. Keep going. Okay, I think that's good.
I can't undo it.
Well, that's good. We don't want to be able to undo it by hand, huh? Okay. We got to put some Teflon on here so that way that piece doesn't leak. So if you're looking at the fitting, wrap it clockwise. And this is terrible Teflon. Use stuff that you buy. Don't use the stuff that comes with the drain. This is the worst Teflon ever. Super thin. But that should be good. And then you thread that in here. And then we're gonna take our compression fitting and just show you what this thing is made of. It's a PVC fitting and it's got a rubber gasket there. That's gonna slide over there, and then this is gonna slide up on that piece here. And when you tighten it down, it creates a watertight seal. So now you can transition from your plumbing pipe to a PVC fitting. And what we're gonna have to do is get a threaded fitting here and screw on an elbow, so that way we can put that on there. I'm gonna put the ramp for where the soldier fly larvae are gonna crawl out on the opposite side from the drain, because we're gonna wanna have a bucket under there that the soldier fly larvae will fall into. If I put it on the other side with the drain, the bucket will be in the way of the valve, or the valve will be in the way of the bucket rather. So I'm gonna go ahead and drill these holes and set up the ramps for what's gonna provide their exit from the farm. All right, so I started on this side because I don't know exactly where that hole is supposed to start from the inside. So that's gonna create a little mark on the inside that I can drill from. We've gotta have room for the PVC fitting to go underneath those there. So I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. All right, we got our marks on the other side, so we can go and flip it over and okay, looking at this, I think I'm going to use, just come straight through with that 1-inch PVC. I feel like the angle of that 45 is gonna be too steep of an angle for them to crawl up. And what I'd like to do is take the ramp all the way from this edge to this edge. So that way it's a more shallow slope. Hopefully easier for them to crawl out. So I'm gonna try something and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I've run the PVC through here, and I think that's gonna make a good slope. Rule of thumb with these guys, don't just muscle through it all the way. You can rotate it, and then it should cut a lot nicer. All right, now I've got my two pieces. And these are gonna go in here just like this. And then I'm gonna take, need to go grab some more 90s. My 90s. And then that's gonna go to a T fitting, which will go down into a bucket. We just have a few things left to do here. One of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut slits in this pipe going up that take the top off, basically shave it off. So no matter the level of the compost in here, they could gain access into the pipe. Otherwise, they would have to go in this bottom piece, and if that's gummed up with stuff, they may not get through there. So I wanna make it really easy for them to come out. So I'll cut little slits on the way up, so that way they can get in. Now I'm going to go ahead and put on the adapter to go from this pipe to get to my valve. It's a little bit of a Frankenstein setup. I'm kind of using what I have. You could probably buy parts and have far fewer parts than this right here, but I have these parts on hand and we're gonna go ahead and use those. So I'm gonna get some Teflon tape, thread that on there, and then put all this on. I'll probably cut this valve a little bit shorter, so that way it's not sticking off all over the place. You're gonna wanna make sure to protect this to where you don't hit it inadvertently and then break this piece off. That would not be good. So we wanna protect that piece as much as we can. I don't need just regular openings. I can just cut this thing, not quite in half, but leave an opening right here. So that way, wherever the level is, they could just kind of fall over into that ramp and go up. So I'm just gonna run this thing down my table saw, a little less than half the width of the PVC, and we should have a nice, nice ramp for them to climb up. Again, as always, eye protection. so I put the PVC back into the receptacle here, and you notice that the ramps are facing up. Again, that's where the soldier fly larvae are going to come up, and they're going to climb up right here. I've put some PVC here to be a little bit of a spreader and also to protect the screen. I didn't want the corners of the PVC digging down into that screen, so hopefully this will keep that from happening. Notice on this side I've got an elbow, and on that side I've got a T. That's to keep this area from filling up with liquid. I had put the screen in there, but it is no longer there. That is because it did not work the way I was hoping it would. That silicone, for whatever reason, would not adhere to that plastic. I don't know if there's like an oil in the plastic that wouldn't let it connect, but it is what it is. So I'm going to plan B, and I have a screen kit that I can build a screen with. Looks like these just slide in there like that.
They do. I know they do.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you know?
Because they did. Because you did it and they do.
Okay. It's a good movie.
Oh, that's
You see
gonna
what it's
be.
doing?
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna work, huh?
Yeah, I think it's gonna work.
Well, let's see if that fits. Yep, I think that's gonna work. Okay, so I've got my screen frame set out here. I'm just gonna set this on here, and you've got your spline. It'll go into these grooves and hold the screen where you put it. You got a little screen tool that this helps you roll the spline back into the groove. And you can come back later and cut off the excess, although I may leave it, I don't know. It may create a nice little gasket. Okay, I actually like that. That looks good. I'm gonna leave that border around there. I think it's gonna provide more protection. So I think this is good. I think this is where we need to be. This is our ramp for the soldier fly larva. All right, so I've got the screen in there, and I've got the ramp in, and I think that's gonna work. As my brother-in-law would say, that dog will hunt. So that's a redneck saying, I know. Okay, the last thing that you gotta put into the soldier fly larva farm is some cardboard, and I'm gonna hang this from the tee where the entrance to the farm is, where the soldier flies are gonna come in. What they're gonna do is they're gonna lay their eggs inside of those little perforations in the cardboard. I wrapped mine with some packing tape just to keep it all together, and then I used a piece of a wire metal hanger, and I'm gonna hang this from that tee. So I'm gonna put that on there now. So what I'm gonna do is slide that up through there. I'm gonna bend a little piece in here. That should keep it from falling through. Okay, so that's just gonna hang just like that, and that's where those soldier flies are gonna lay their eggs. Okay, so that'll be down inside the farm. It'll be hanging like that. Okay, I'm gonna haul this thing over to the chicken coop and set it up. Still got a little bit of light left, plus I need to check on the broilers anyway. I think I'm gonna set it up under this tree here. I don't want it to get too hot in the sun, so I'll set it up right over here. It's got afternoon sun. Yeah, we'll see. It's gonna be inside here because I don't want the dogs getting to it. Okay, I just decided to put the feed barrels on either side of it, and I think that's gonna hold it pretty steady. I may still tie it off just to be safe. Okay, the whole idea behind a soldier fly larva farm is you've got some sort of substrate in there, food that they can feed on and they can eat. And I'm gonna use just chicken feed. And what this is gonna do, I'm gonna put it in there and I'm going to actually get it wet. And the scent from the feed is gonna come up through that T fitting, and it's gonna draw those soldier flies in. They're gonna come in, lay their eggs, and then the larva will hatch and then crawl around in the chicken feed. You can also put your compost in here. So I'm starting it with chicken feed, but I'm gonna use my compost to top it off. So this will just be a base for it, and I'm gonna keep throwing compost in there so it'll get you know, a nice organic matter substrate for them to grow in. All right, so I got about 4.5 gallons of water I'm gonna pour in here to get this grain wet. That's about it. I'm gonna put the lid on and let it set. And hopefully in the next few days, we'll have some soldier flies that take up residence. It has been quite a bit, but now we've got soldier flies. In fact, I've just got one that's been buzzing around. I got a little bit of video of it. But we've got a ton of larvae in here, and I'm gonna show you. I'm warning you, it's kind of gross in here. It's kind of nasty, rotting food. But they are climbing up the ramps just like I had hoped. And this thing is working perfectly. So I'm gonna show you what's going on. See, he's kind of inching up there. They climb up this ramp here, and it goes through this tube, and then it drops down into this bucket. I need to get a new bucket. That one's kind of gross. But inside you can see there's already, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or so in there. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but they are moving stuff. There's a bunch of them inside the eggshell. Some little bitty guys. It's really quite gross, but we're getting some good food for the chickens out of this. There's a soldier fly right there. And it just landed. Looks like it's laying eggs. All right, I'm gonna dump these out for the chickens. Well, I think overall this was a huge success building this soldier fly larva farm. We've been getting some great free food for our chickens over the past several weeks, and it's producing some amazing eggs with some deep orange yolks. I hope that you try and build one of these for your chickens, and I hope that you get some free food for them. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and giving us a thumbs up and liking it, and we'll see you guys next time. Y'all take care.